So I think some new ones. I've shaken most of your hands, and I'll catch you guys in just a minute. My name is Kathy Cott. I am a nurse. I've been a nurse for 35 years. I have lived in Cohutta, Georgia for 30 years. Do y'all know where Cohutta is? It's a tiny town. I always say, I'm so close to Tennessee, I could walk there. It's really close to Tennessee. If you head to the Red Clay State Park, you'll go through, or you can go through Cohutta. I think it's a town of maybe 500 people. So my number one job these days is taking care of my mom, who I brought with me today. She's 81 years old and she's my biggest fan. I do work part-time still as an infusion nurse, and so I was asked by a group in Atlanta to be part of what they call the Fighting 50. So there are over 50 seats in the Georgia State House that do not have a competitor for the Republican, right? And in my district, in your district, or if you live in District 6, there hasn't been a competitor in over 20 years. That's a long time. So we haven't had a voice. There's just not a voice at the table. Georgia will never be a blue state or even approach dark purple if we don't start having representation in the districts. So District 6 is, I made this cute little map for when I went to the college, but it turns out everyone likes a visual. So this is Murray County. District 6 is all of Murray County, right? This little piece is Gordon County. Fits down here at the bottom. It includes Oakman and Pine Chapel. Very rural. It's going to be a difficult ground to cover, but if there's Democrats there, I need to find them. If there's independents there, I need to find them, right? I think that the other side's actually making it kind of easy for us to draw people away. And so we need to capitalize on that this year. This is a little piece of Cohutta where I live and where my area is. But all three of these are District 6. So just like you heard about the lines changing, the lines didn't change for state District 6. So let's see. My passions, so when I was asked to do this, I'm not a professional politician of any kind, which I'm sure is probably pretty clear, but I am passionate, and I'm passionate about democracy. I've always been passionate about voting. I think that democracy is on the line this election, and we've got to start from the grassroots of tiny little rural districts like ours, making sure that they know that we're here. We have to get the message out that we are not, as Democrats, what they want people to think we are, right? We have a group of people out there who are trying to divide us and trying to get us to fear each other. And us in our bodies, in our neighborhoods, we've got to combat that by showing up, looking people in the eye. You know, it's hard to hate people close up. And when you know that these are your neighbors, that's the kind of presence that I hope to bring to this little piece of my world. And I hope that even if you don't live in my district, which many of you won't, because you live in town or in a different area, that you'll see that it's a cause worth putting your time, your talent, and your treasure into. So, you know, that means I would like to have volunteers to help me make phone calls, knock doors, pass out flyers. I'm willing to show up, and all the things that he said, I'll be there if I can in any possible way to shake. I want to shake everyone's hand, no matter what their political affinity, but especially I need to get you guys excited about the idea of having a Democrat even in your neighborhood, right? So I've been a Democrat since I was in my early 20s. And I'll tell you, which is, just a few years after I started voting, I was a Democrat then too. But I'll tell you what put it in cement for me is that I realized that the government and government programs and state programs could actually help me, could help my family. And I came up in a very poor family, working poor. We all have a great work ethic, and we're very independent, and the saying in the family is we can work our way out of that, whatever it is, that problem, that debt, that whatever. And I went to nursing school, so I went to nursing school on a scholarship that was championed by Ted Kennedy and way back in the Reagan era. And that program and my profession of nursing has allowed me to actually have some bootstraps, right? I don't know that I even had boots before that, but once I got them, once I got the education, I took my work ethic, and I've been able to raise a family at a tiny bit higher standard than what I was brought up with. Probably I'm underestimating. But anyway, I am the first one in my family to have gone to college and to have a professional career, and I've been able to help 4 kids through college. So, that's how we advance our society. That's how we change our destinies. And I believe that is through education and through community support. So I am wondering why in a community, if you know anything about Murray County, which is the biggest part of my district, they're one of the poorest counties in Georgia. And I don't understand why we have a representative who hasn't brought home any of the bacon for us. We don't have enough educational support in our area. We don't have enough medical support. It's hard to keep professionals in these rural areas because poor people aren't insured or they're underinsured, and we can't pay the professionals. Now this year, if you listen to the governor of Georgia talk about all this extra money he has, I'm wondering why he has all this extra money while there's communities that are suffering with addiction, with mental health issues, and everyone wants to talk about when terrible tragedies happen, it's a mental health thing. They had a mental health problem. Well, we had some mental health issues in our family, and I'll tell you what happens to people in Murray County when they have a mental health issue. They go and spend 3 or 4 days in the emergency department of a local hospital, and then they get shipped off to somewhere south Atlanta, and in 3 days they get released, and there's no one there to support them through that. They don't get connected to proper ongoing care, and later tragedy comes. It just does, because mental health isn't something like a pill that you take. It's an ongoing issue that we have to address, especially in our poorer communities, in our rural communities. So I'm really strong on that. You can imagine, as a nurse, not only have I experienced it personally, but I've experienced it professionally over and over again. And I would say the same thing about women's rights and maternal health. Georgia's way down the list on maternal health. And we know that women's rights are just slipping away, one day at a time, one option for us at a time, to take control and make decisions for ourselves. Not only has that affected me personally, but I have professionally helped so many people who have needed those kind of options to keep their head above water, to feed the kids they already have, to do right by the lives that they dream of having. These kind of options are our freedoms, and they are the American dream. We can't have an American dream without it. And I'm really frightened by the direction that the other party wants to take our country. I don't have any confidence that they be looking out for anyone in the middle or lower levels of our society. And I think that democracy, the thing about it is, I know that like our representative that we have now, when I looked, I studied his record, and I'm like, well, I would vote for that, and I would vote for that. There's so many things that we have in common, but there's a few things. The representative that I have now, and I don't know, I'm still grappling, I guess, with how much to highlight the negatives, but I can tell you these few things. He's an election denier. He signed the amicus brief as an election denier. He doesn't show up in our community. He has $100,000 in his coffers, and it all comes from big everything, big tobacco, big pharma, You know, once you get in office and you just sit back, he doesn't have to spend a dime to go along with everything that Brian Kemp puts on the table. The latest bill that he's a co-signer on wants to defund and depower the health department and public health. And I'll tell you what, you want to see us go into third world status, just take away vaccines and any kind of public health oversight. So that's just a few things that motivate me, and of course there's more. If you're a strong Democrat, I probably agree with you on most things. And if you live in a rural area, I probably agree with you on a lot of things in that way as well. I've lived in a rural community, like I told you, for a long time. So I think that covers enough, and I'm happy to talk with you. My card on the back, that QR code goes to my website, at which time you can find a little donate button, because even in a tiny rural community, you know, signs cost money, everything costs money, everything. Little cards that I pass out cost money. And I'm not from personal wealth, and I don't have personal wealth. But the one thing that I promise the community is I will do as much as I am funded and supported to do, because I'm not here to be a crusader by myself, but I'll be a representative that you can be proud of. So think about at least checking out my website, hit the donate button if you can, but if you can't and you have time or talent, and I'm talking, it doesn't matter what your talent is, I could probably find a way to help you, help me, help us. So at the bottom of the webpage is a place where you can email me. Send me your name, your address, the way in which you think you could help or that you'd like to help. So if you want to get involved this year, I'm here for you. Thank you.